Hello everyone, today I'm reviewing the ZimaBoard 832. It's a pretty low-cost single board server made by the people over at ZimaBoard. It's got an Intel Celeron quad-core processor, onboard integrated Intel graphics, as well as 8 gigs of memory and 32 gigs of onboard storage. On the front here, it's got some SATA ports, we've got a PCI Express slot over here, so as you can see, this board's pretty expandable if you wanted to add more storage or a graphics card. It's got 2 Ethernet cables over here and 2 USB 2.0 jacks over here as well as a mini display port. And that's the power, of course. I'm gonna get this guy hooked up and see what we can do with it. Keep in mind, I'm not a tinkerer, so while I'm setting this up, I'm going to be learning on every step of the way. I really want to use the ZimaBoard while it's next to me, just so I can keep an eye on it for now. I'm going to hook up the Ethernet to my computer and try to see if that'll get it working. The manual says to look out for these flashing lights for both the power going through as well as the network connection. And I can see that happening now, and we're all hooked up. I really like the low profile of the ZimaBoard. I mean, like, it fits right onto my desk, and the little heatsink makes it look both modernized as well as not taking up too much room. I feel like if I were to use like an old computer for this thing, it would be kind of an eyesore, so I'm really glad of the way it looks. Okay, so I couldn't access the CasaBoard OS from the landing page. I didn't connect any display onto this, so all I'm going to do is just share the internet connection I have on my computer with the Ethernet cable that's connected to the ZimaBoard, and hopefully that'll work. Okay, now I just type in CasaOS.local, and here we go. It worked. So just to access my CasaOS machine, the default username and password is CasaOS and CasaOS. This can always be changed, of course, if you want to make your machine more secure. There we go. Now I'm in. And now I am on the home page of CasaOS. There's a couple statistics on the top left, just using CPU usage and memory usage, as well as storage under there and network activity directly under that. As someone who isn't really familiar with Linux machines or how to use the terminal, there is an app store located on the CasaOS, and where I can download certain applications I want that I could run using these things called Docker containers. While I'm not entirely sure what Docker containers are, I understand that for this OS, it uses it to run these applications or store these applications. Right now, I'm just browsing through the File Explorer, checking out how CasaOS organizes its things. Now, as you can see, I'm re-logging into CasaOS. That's because I ran into my first problem, which was that the App Store was not loading. A simple turning it off and turning it on again didn't really help, so I had to Google foo my way out of the situation. As a complete beginner, this was kind of overwhelming, but the documentation for CasaOS online is pretty good. So with a quick Google search and a little bit of tinkering with terminal, I was able to get the App Store running again. I'm just going to speed up my process because it did take a little bit of time. After I got the App Store running, I tried to download this program called AdGuard. Unfortunately, it required my CasaOS to be connected directly to my router, which is in this little cabinet here, which is where I'm putting it. There we go, safe and sound. After many hours of research, messing with my Wi-Fi settings, and knocking out my Wi-Fi a couple times, I finally set up a DNS server that routed directly towards my ZimaBoard, and I finally got AdGuard working. As you can see, the AdGuard is finally registering queries, and as I browse the internet, some more queries are popping up. So I wanted to see if my AdGuard was continuing to work even though I've stopped monitoring it. So I launched up my CasaOS after leaving it running overnight. And the first thing I did was check on AdGuard. I'm going to open up AdGuard, and as you can see, there's been 16,500 queries since last night and almost 4,000 blocked queries. Now, according to the block list I set, that's pretty good, and I can tell you that I have not been more satisfied in completing a project than I have with this ZimaBoard. It really did take a lot of work and a lot of troubleshooting, but this has probably been one of the most fun experiences I've had this year. And I can't wait to look forward to setting up Pi-hole maybe, because I couldn't get it working the first time. Because of the ease of use of the US and the pretty good documentation, I have to say that the ZimaBoard is probably the most beginner-friendly, like tinker board you could find on the market. I recommend it strongly, and thank you very much for watching.